mouth is watering right now because I have integrity. I just really need the Trump administration to succeed and to save this country, and they're doing so much good. And then for them to do something like this tears my guts out.
So guys, I try to use my platform to not dehumanize the Jews or Israel or any of that. In fact, I've condemned people who praise Hamas and don't care about the anti-Semitism that goes on US soil, saying it's a growing problem. And so I've really tried to give people like Ben Shapiro the benefit of the doubt, and to an extent I still want to. And I'll admit that I tried for a while to rationalize Ben's positions, which in hindsight I probably was playing some sort of mental gymnastics, but the shift for me was when he talked about the JFK files and the so-called conspiracies behind his death.
Sort of conspiracy theorizing that's become incredibly popular. It was popular on the left, and now it's become increasingly popular on the right. The kind of, let's just ask questions. And then you're like, well, do you have any evidence of the thing that you are presupposing? Well, no, I'm not making any accusations. I just know I don't believe the story that I'm being told. I know not to trust the authorities.
Okay, just right quick, there's something I think needs to be discussed. First of all, he says the let's just ask questions trope or whatever was popular on the left and now it's spreading to the right. And then there's the way he's condescendingly talking about those who just ask questions. I mean, isn't that one of the points of being an American citizen? Looking at things from a critical perspective? I mean, I think that shouldn't be unique to one party. And last I checked, it was a Republican president who bolstered the distrust in the government.
9 most terrifying words in the English language are, I'm from the government and I'm here to help.
And other Republicans who have supported that sentiment.
I'm very, very cynical when it comes to the government. It's just how I was raised. I grew up with Ronald Reagan as my president. Anybody else as a kid have Ronald Reagan? And remember his warning? His warning was the 9 most terrifying words in the English language are, I'm from the government and I'm here to help. And boy, was he right.
President Reagan used to say the most terrifying words in the English language are, I'm from the government and I'm here to help. And there's a lot of wisdom in that.
Which again, I am all for a healthy government distrust because the government is of course in it for themselves at the end of the day. Rarely is there any side that's actually there to help. Point being that Ben Shapiro saying it originated on the left is already a falsehood, and I just see no point in lying about that. But okay, what else did he have to say about JFK?
That's fine, but do you have any evidence? Evidence, not just supposition. I said, well, you're part of it, aren't you? You're part of it. The reason that you're so defensive about all this is, I don't care who killed JFK. I mean, I do, because it's really interesting, but I noticed that the calendar says 2025 and he was killed in 1963. And so my opinion about who killed JFK has about as much relevance as who killed William McKinley, or James Garfield, which is to say, not an enormous amount.
Yeah, so in case some of y'all need a quick history recap, President Garfield was assassinated in 1881, McKinley was assassinated in 1901, and Kennedy was assassinated in 1963, which was around the same time that trust in the government started to erode amidst the Vietnam War. And it was also the only one of those 3 assassinations that happened after Israel formed in 1948, speaking of things that we distrust. And during JFK's presidency, even though he believed in Israel's rights to exist and provided support to Israel in the form of military aid, there were also contentions in their relationship as JFK required the ASZ, American Zionist Council, a pro-Israel lobbying group, to register as foreign agents, though recanted. Which, if you don't know, one of the implications of registering as a foreign agent is that there's increased transparency of the scope of foreign influence you have. And also in July of 1963, President Kennedy demanded Israel to allow U.S. inspections of the Israeli nuclear facility at Dimona, or U.S. support for Israel would be seriously jeopardized. And then there was the Nakba of 1948, aka where hundreds of thousands of Palestinians were displaced following Israel's formation. And Kennedy really pushed for their right of return. And at a UN conference on November 20th, 1963, that issue was apparently brought up, at which he was assassinated 2 days later. And going back to the Israeli nuclear facilities, then there's Mordecai Vanunu, who worked for 9 years in the Dimona facility as a technician. And he was outspoken in calling for equal rights for Palestinians, and opposed Israel's military takeover of Lebanon. And in 1985, he was laid off, later blowing the whistle and revealing that Israel's nuclear capability was far greater than suspected, that they had 100-200 nuclear weapons capable of being more powerful than atomic bombs. And after he basically fled to London, he was then lured to Rome by the Mossad, where he was abducted, taken back to Israel, and was secretly tried for espionage and treason, sentenced to 19 years in prison.
I'm nuclear hostage since they kidnapped me from Rome. In 1986, I'm a hostage for nuclear weapons. As a human being, I have the right to express my political views, my ideas. I have no more any secret. The only one who have secret is Israel government. Israel government has nuclear weapons and they have this secret. I don't have any more secret. I'm proud and happy to do what I did. I'm very glad that I succeed to do what I did.
To this day, he remains barred from leaving Israel, is harassed by security forces, and is prohibited from speaking to journalists and foreigners without permission.
My future is going to be outside of Israel. As we saw in the last days, there is hate and danger even to my life here. So I have no future in this Israel state.
And Vanunu says he believes that Kennedy was assassinated by the Israeli government due to pressure that he put on them to be more transparent about the nuclear reactor. And look, I don't know what happened, I wasn't around for Kennedy. But if Israel had nothing to hide about their nuclear reactor, then why are they seemingly silencing people? And it's one thing if you've done your research and you think all of this still doesn't hold up, but it's worth looking into, isn't it? But people like Ben Shapiro think it's a waste of energy to even ask questions. And when Kash Patel, Dan Bongino, Pam Bondi, Donald Trump suddenly shifted their tune on the Epstein Files, Ben Shapiro blindly agreed.
We now have the answers. It turns out that the DOJ and the FBI have concluded that Epstein didn't have a client list and died by suicide. The DOJ and the FBI, again, run by people like Dan Bongino and Kash Patel and Pam Bondi, they're telling you, people who are members of the Trump administration, people you elected and put into these positions to get you the truth on this matter, are telling you that he didn't, in fact, he was not murdered, he did not keep a client list, and he did not blackmail powerful figures. Okay, right? That is the thing that they are saying, not I, they are saying this.
Look, I don't mean to nitpick here, but if you have to keep saying that they are saying this, not me, then all I'm hearing is either I didn't do critical thinking on this matter, and don't blame me, I'm just the messenger, which tells me that you will believe what the establishment tells you to, which checks out for me, because, and I don't mean to dig up the past too much, but if you never saw this in 2020, when some people were hesitant about the COVID jab, not only did he claim that it was 95% effective in preventing infection, which we know how that turned out, but he also called those that wouldn't get it dopes. Which the first part I sort of get considering his wife is a doctor, which he can't seem to stop flaunting.
My wife is a doctor. My wife's a doctor. My wife's a doctor. My wife's a doctor.
Jokes aside, the point is I get he has a blind spot in that sense, and granted he did walk back his support for it.
But we now know that we were lied to by everyone. We were lied to by the scientists. We were lied to by Pfizer. We were lied to by the government. We were lied to by the Biden administration. We were lied to. And it makes me not believe these people. I got vaxxed twice, or I'm double vaxxed. My wife being a doctor and seeing vulnerable patients is triple vaxxed. But knowing now what I know then, would I have actually gotten vaxxed based on the information that my actual chances of death from COVID were exorbitantly low? Would I have gotten it? I don't know. I really don't know. I think maybe not.
Even suing the Biden administration.
You are helping us fight the Biden administration vaccine mandate. All across the country, 100 million people are going to be forced to vax or be fired unless we stop them. We here at Daily Wire said day one, we are not going to comply with Joe Biden's unconstitutional and tyrannical vax mandate. Right now, that case is at the 6th Circuit Court of Appeals. We are the leading plaintiffs against OSHA, against the Biden administration in that case.
But he left out the fact that Donald Trump's administration was responsible for the vaccine, which he was actually happy about when it rolled out.
So the vaccines have begun to roll out. That is a massive win for the Trump administration.
And yes, Biden mandated it when he was in office, but I don't see him directing any of that frustration towards Donald Trump. All I'm saying is that if you're going to be happy that one administration rolls out something, and once that thing is rolled out and feels like a failure, be consistent in your criticism. Because the fact is that he does support forced vaccination.
Do you believe that people should be compelled by law to vaccinate themselves or their children?
So this is one of my more controversial positions. My answer is yes. There are certain, and when people argue about whether vaccinations should be compelled, after all, does it hurt anybody else? This is a question of externality. So as a conservative, I don't believe people should be compelled to do anything unless it causes externality to others. However, failing to vaccinate your kid does have externalities because herd immunity is necessary in order to protect people who can't actually protect themselves, kids who have cancer and can't get vaccinations, pregnant women who can't have vaccinations. So this is a really serious issue. And there's a reason that so many diseases that plagued humanity for legitimately tens of thousands of years legitimately disappeared from planet Earth as of about 50 or 60 years ago, once people realized what germ theory was and that vaccinations were actually effective. So I know there are a lot of folks who are upset with me, actually, about my vaccination position on this, but I do have a very strong vaccination position. And again, if it causes an externality not to vaccinate your kids, then it's a problem for you not to vaccinate your kids.
And the other thing is he has a pattern of being condescending, because in addition to calling people dopes for not getting the COVID jab, he also called parents who didn't get their kid the pertussis jab dolts, and blamed his kid's illness on those people. Which, look, we can talk about whether or not your jab depends on others getting jabbed, but calling people dopes, dolts, just shows how much you think you're better than other people. And when Alex Jones was expressing his sentiment over the Epstein Files,
I don't know how they got Trump and the DOJ to do this, because the public is not buying it. No one is buying it. So I never saw any evidence of Trump involved in any of the stuff that came out. It was all fake. The fake Jane Does, all the crap, E. Jean Carroll, the crazy leftist cat lady, all of it. So now, by coming in and being part of the cover-up, the Trump administration has become part of it. I mean, it's just, you cannot see it any other way. So I just got to the office. I'm going to go throw up, actually. And this only happens every few years when something really, really bad happens or something. I mean, I'm physically going to puke probably right now. My mouth is watering right now. Because I have integrity. And, I just really need the Trump administration to succeed and to save this country. And then for them to do something like this tears my guts out. The left, they're all complicit. They're openly promoting pedophilia. We know they're pure evil. And they'll think it's all funny. Oh, look, Alex is sad. MAGA's tearing itself apart. And so you shouldn't look at those of us that have a soul still and have integrity in pain over this and celebrate, you dumb pieces of f***ing shit. You're going against your own self-preservation, serving this evil globalist system of BlackRock and the New World Order and Hakeem Jeffries and all the rest of it. So I'm just processing this right now. It's beyond insane. You couldn't try to hurt yourself worse. You couldn't try to discredit the FBI worse than what they've done. Pam Bondi, all of it. All those videos are saying, yeah, she's seen the videos. It's all coming out. And then now it doesn't exist. I mean, what? Damn it.
Ben thought it was okay to mock him.
But as you can see, the conspiratorialists are very, very upset with the Trump administration. Now they believe the conspiracy goes even deeper. So Alex Jones, who has yet to find a conspiracy he doesn't believe in, is about to go throw up, which frankly might be good for his weight loss program.
Okay, I just have to say, if the first thing that comes out of your mouth is making fun of someone's weight, it may be funny. I like a good fat joke, but 9 times out of 10, I automatically think what you're going to say next is in jest and isn't trying to make a serious statement.
Guys, he has integrity. In fact, he's been called by some a prophet. Actually, this is a person whose own lawyer made the case in a custody hearing with his ex-wife that he was a performance artist. This wasn't even the Sandy Hook trial where he tried to make the same case. His lawyers claim that this man of integrity is, in fact, a performance artist. Quote, he's playing a character and is nothing like his online persona, attorney Randall Wilhite reportedly insisted in a Texas courtroom at a pretrial hearing ahead of the right-wing radio jock's custody battle with ex-wife Kelly Jones. Judging Jones by his InfoWars performances would be like judging Jack Nicholson by his depiction of the Joker on Batman. That's his own lawyer saying that. His own lawyer is saying that he was a performance artist. Okay, that's his wife was making the case that actually he's just unstable. Quote, he's not a stable person. He says he wants to break Alec Baldwin's neck. He wants J-Lo to get... His lawyer was like, no, he doesn't mean any of that. He's a performance artist. Okay, so those are your choices. At this point, you can watch whatever you want. It is a free country. You can watch Alex Jones. You can believe Alex Jones. You can think Alex Jones. You're entitled to any of those beliefs. That's fine. It's a free country. On a moral and intellectual level, it is not so fine. Because it turns out that people who consistently traffic in conspiracy, it turns out that people who consistently traffic in trash, people who spend your time, your few brief breaths on this planet, filling your mind with stupidity. Listen, if you want to watch Alex Jones in the same way that you watch WWE, because you know that the WWE is people who are fake jumping on each other and you find it dramatic and interesting, more power to you. But if you're watching WWE and you think it's real, that makes you the stupid person. Don't do it.
Sure, Alex Jones may not be the most sane person. He does do some crazy stuff and is off the rockers, and I do disagree with him on a lot, but doesn't mean everything he says or does is invalid. And Ben just calls him stupid without presenting any other facts that would support his argument that Epstein did in fact unalive himself. He's going off the words of Kash Patel and Dan Bongino, who may have been compromised. He's willing to overlook the fact that, Robert Maxwell, father of Epstein's handler Ghislaine, was allegedly tied to the Mossad, which is credible due to the fact that he had his funeral in Israel attended by the Prime Minister, President, and 6 Israeli intelligence officers. or the fact that nobody knows how Epstein made his money speculating more ties to Israel, because of the fact that Ehud Barak, former Prime Minister of Israel, met with Epstein dozens of times, including after his previous convictions, referring to 2008 when he was convicted of prostitution related to a minor and had to register as a sex offender. And outside of the Israel stuff, Epstein's death was officially ruled a suicide, but examiners found injuries more consistent with strangulation, including several broken bones on his neck. Finally, Ben, please explain the unexplained time jump in the security footage. It's like just because Israel could be involved, he'd be willing to let people who abuse innocent children not be accountable. It's like justice for child trafficking victims, unless the perpetrator could be our ally. Well, either way, Alex Jones clapped back at Ben for what he said.
Well, here's Ben Shapiro attacking me with a script, reading a CNN fake article from 12 years ago, but he wouldn't even tell you the source because he knows you wouldn't believe CNN. He's the same guy that says, take the COVID shots, enjoy the lockdowns, never Trumper. But now he and Mark Levin and the Israeli operatives, they're the real MAGA, and any of us that actually got Trump elected or were there at the start, we're the people you can't trust. There's a lot of other choices. You're lying. You just spewed a bunch of lies as if they were facts. You didn't actually go to the court record. You took a CNN thing where my lawyer went, this is inadmissible. This clip of Jones playing the Joker. I'm the Joker. I'm putting poison in your water. It's good, kids. Drink it and die. My ex-wife wanted to say, look, he's crazy. My lawyer said that's inadmissible. That's obviously a parody. When Jack Nicholson plays the Joker, he's not really the Joker. By that extension, Jones admits he's a performance artist and everything's fake. And when he does that, he's doing a parody, just like when I was a gay frog. And actually, listeners love it. I love to have some fun, but I basically stopped doing it because then the media always takes it and says, that's really who I am. But here's Ben Shapiro saying, none of you ever had any evidence. There's no evidence. You heard this memo says there's no evidence. There's just people in prison that worked with him for human trafficking, but that didn't happen either. Nope, your FBI said it. Trump said it. So you're either with Trump and Bongino or you're with that crazy guy who admits he's fake, Alex Jones. When did I say I was fake? Oh, well, CNN said in the court filing. Didn't say that. But that's what they do. An intelligence agency talking point. Here come the Israelis to the rescue. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. The bugle, the cavalry. Here comes Ben Shapiro.
If you're willing to throw that over and claim they're lying, then I'd like to see you present your evidence that they are in fact lying. Because I know Dan. I don't think that Dan Bongino is lying to me. I know Kash Patel a little bit. I don't think Kash Patel is lying to me.
What did Patel say on Rogan a few months ago? He goes, listen, Joe, you know me. You can trust me. If there was any evidence of any other victims, we'd tell you. If there was any video, we'd let you know. And Joe's like, well, Bondi says you've got 14 terabytes. Well, let's not talk about that. And you have all these court cases and and people convicted and all this. And then his court case, the second one in New York when he died. No, there's no evidence. Believe these people because they've done a 180 now. And, he's not an intelligence. So out from under a rock comes Ben Shapiro with others who attack me.
Again, Alex Jones may say crazy, dare I say harmful stuff like the Sandy Hook conspiracy, but at least he's consistent and is willing to pull back from his loyalty to Trump in times like this when it's clear as day that Israel has infiltrated Trump's ability to be for the people, to be accountable. But Ben Shapiro is not consistent, and I feel bad because I tried so hard to defend him, but he has become indefensible, especially when he is on record saying his loyalty to the United States is conditional upon being allies with Israel.
The existence of the state of Israel is the single greatest guarantor of my loyalty to the United States, frankly.
And look, I don't hate Ben. I just hate how he betrayed his brand. Facts don't care about your feelings. I hate how he's totally unwilling to speak out against his own sacred cows. And what we've seen this last week is nothing short of remarkable. It's the black pill moment a lot of people needed, including me, to rally against Israel's undue influence. And if Trump can't break free from it, then he may do unspeakable damage to the MAGA movement. And longtime Trumpers may have to leave him behind. Because when it comes down to it, questioning the government should be a nonpartisan principle. But guys, I want to thank you all for watching this video as always, and if you appreciated my commentary, please give it a thumbs up, and if you're new to this channel, hopefully I've earned a subscription. Here's some more videos for you to watch in the meantime. Until next time, peace out.